Well, 3 of Maine's ski mountains are closed today because of the storm. Sunday River, as David Guilford reported, is blocked from access, so it is closed. This obviously is file video, not people out there today. Saddleback and Sugarloaf also decided not to open. Staff at Sugarloaf say they made that decision with guests in mind. They say they plan to take today to review some of the damage to the roads around their campus, come up with a reopening plan. Staff at Sunday River also said they are looking at roads and trails that were damaged in the storm. They say they will reopen as soon as the necessary repairs can be made there. All right, Keith, so live pictures from Moosehead Lake. Quite a contrast in a days. It's a decent day out there today.
Yeah, and of course this does happen sometimes after our storms as we get a high pressure comes in, and we've got a couple of nice days, and today's one of them. Just to review some of our bigger numbers as far as rainfall and wind gusts from yesterday's storm system. Kingfield, no surprise, all the pictures you get out of the Carrabass Valley, Kingfield area, 6 inches of rain there, and we've got a lot in the 5s, Rumford included in that, and Greenville almost 5 inches as well. As far as wind gusts go, the Jetport came in at 60 miles an hour. We had a lot between 60 and 70, and we did have a couple in the low 70s as well into down East Maine. Obviously that was good enough for these really big power outage numbers we had. And imagine if we had leaves on the trees. Luckily we didn't. We would have had really catastrophic numbers there. So a really decent day, as Brian mentioned here, for cleanup, assessing whatever needs to happen. Temperatures are in the mid and upper 40s. You can't ask for a much better day in almost late December to get recovery going here. We do have a good deal of sunshine too into the mid coast and western Maine. We do have additional cloud cover into down east Maine still, even an isolated sprinkle there, but most of us will have a nice rest of the day. That doesn't necessarily show us the whole story, though. As we talked about earlier, we still have flash flood warnings that are in effect in some cases until Thursday afternoon, and these are all along major rivers and streams. Saco, Androscoggin, and Kennebec here is what we're looking at. So obviously it takes a while for these rivers and streams to crest. Most of them are forecast to do so late tonight, early tomorrow morning, and then start receding after that. So we'll see the kind of the peak of it during that time period, as it takes a while for all the water to more or less get down into the basins here and start continuing to flow up. Some of the smaller rivers and streams, the Carrabass River, for example, being one of them, crested earlier and is going to start going down here shortly if it hasn't already. Some of the river gauges there seem to be knocked out, which isn't surprising based on everything that happened yesterday. So all that to say, it's actually going to be quiet all the rest of this week. It's just a matter of undulating temperatures a bit. Today, probably the warmest day of the stretch in the upper 40s and low 50s. Overnight tonight, we drop down into the low 30s, some upper 20s, and then some low 20s into the mountains where things will refreeze there. By tomorrow afternoon, we're back to a lot of sunshine, and again, it's pretty pleasant. Upper 30s to around 40 degrees, not bad at all. We do start to get colder for the end of the week. As you can see, those temperatures drop into the teens through Thursday morning, and by Thursday afternoon, we're struggling to get out of the 20s. So a pretty chilly day Thursday and probably again Friday before we recover those temperatures in time for the weekend. The weekend does look good. You know, it's a holiday weekend coming up with Christmas on Monday. All of that looks pretty good. It looks quiet straight through Christmas Day, probably nothing until at least the day after, if not mid next week. Temperature trend goes down Thursday, Friday, back building for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Looks like it'll be about 40 to 45 at this point for Christmas. Obviously, that could change a little bit based on the timeline now, but it looks pleasant enough. A little bit brisk there on Thursday. Don't worry, that doesn't mean big winds. The wind icon just showing you we will have some breezy conditions, should not cause any additional problems. And then we're just kind of cruising through there. One thing we, of course, do not see here, and this is probably the least of our concerns, white Christmas chances, not great. If you don't have snow on the ground now, it ain't happening between now and Christmas, but at least it's nice and quiet in between.
Yes, and I think at this point, at least it's not raining.
Yeah.
It's not going to be white, it'll be dry.
Our standards are now lower,
yes. All right, Keith, thank you.